Safety in relationships and online. Relationships can be confusing sometimes, so it's important to know how to keep yourself safe so it's easier to recognise when something isn't right. Sexual violence and consent. Sexual violence or sexual harm includes any sexual behaviour that happens without consent, as well as coercion or grooming. Firstly, the only people responsible for sexual violence are the people doing it. Full stop. End of story. Sometimes family members and trusted adults can sexually harm and are not safe. This makes it really hard and confusing when wanting to tell someone about it. We don't always talk about it, but some of our statistics around sexual violence aren't great. A small number of sexual assaults are reported, and only a few of those are convicted. A quarter of young people are seeing adult content before they're 12. So what can we do? Consent is an ongoing process where people give permission or say yes to someone else throughout the whole process. To give consent, people need to be sober enough to make decisions, conscious and able to speak, and given the option to change their mind whenever they like. Can you give consent if you're severely drunk or drugged and can't speak or stand up? Scared? What if you said yes last time but aren't sure this time? If you're comfortable, sober enough to make decisions and having fun? Sure. It can be traumatic when someone does something to us without our consent. When this happens, the brain activates the staying alive part of our brain, which turns off our decision-making part. Some people fight, some run, but the most common response when someone is doing something sexual to us without our consent is to freeze. Just because you have frozen and your body is not doing or saying anything, this does not mean you are giving consent. Have really high standards for how you communicate and are communicated with, especially in intimate situations. Don't just guess that the other person is saying or thinking yes. You might say things like, "Would it be okay if I did this?" And "What do you like?" You want to be with someone who is okay with these questions and asks you the same things. Sex should be fun and a good experience. If someone is making you question yourself or trying to convince you to go against what you want, maybe making you feel like you're being too dramatic, this is called gaslighting and it is not okay. If someone is doing this to you, talking to someone you trust is a great idea. That someone could be a teacher, youth worker, counsellor, the police, family member or friend. Social media. The online world has its own challenges. In New Zealand, we have NetSafe, offering some general rules. A digital communication should never be threatening, offensive, discriminatory, or make false allegations. These all have heavy consequences and should be reported to a trusted person, the police or NetSafe. NetSafe are really approachable if you have any concerns and they are there to help you. Remember that your digital footprint can be there forever. Even if you delete something, there can be copies elsewhere with long-term consequences. It is important to be mindful when sharing pictures online, especially if it's of your body. If you share someone else's picture without their consent, you can get into big trouble. Sharing or possessing intimate images of people under 16 is illegal. Be vigilant when you're online. While a lot of content and communication online can be fun and helpful, some people may try to trick and manipulate you. They might build a fake profile and later want photos or money in exchange for not sharing embarrassing material. If this happens, don't pay anything. Stop sharing and report it to NetSafe, the police or a safe person. Online pornography. Pornography or videos of paid actors having sex is easy to see online even if you don't want to. Porn is created for entertainment. It is not somewhere to go if you want to learn how to have good sex, because it doesn't show things like consent conversations or foreplay. Almost 3 in 4 young people watch porn to become better lovers, but a lot of it promotes rough sex and puts people in vulnerable positions, being called nasty names. The made-up stories make it seem that people like this, but in real life, most don't. You need to know what works for you and your partner. Considering all these things, think about how you listen to and respect people's feelings and boundaries. Do you make people feel safe around you? If you have or have had sexual partners, do you feel safe with them? How do you talk about consent? Have you pressured anyone to do something they don't really want to do or experienced that? Do you feel valued and respected by your friends and partners? If anything has happened to you, there are places that can support you. And if something has happened to a friend, don't panic. Listen and believe them. Make sure they're safe. Blame and shame does not belong to them. It belongs to the person that harmed them. Ask how you can support them and offer to help with telling someone else. You can contact us, Midland Sexual Assault Support Services, if you live in the Waikato region. There are also sexual harm support services right throughout New Zealand, so a quick Google search will help you find one in your local area. ACC also provides assistance to people who have been sexually harmed, and you can talk to your GP or ring them directly to get the process started. And remember that the role of the police is also to help you. Awareness of these issues can help you negotiate relationships with confidence and respect.